United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here. Here. Johnson. Here. Carpenter. Evans. Williams. Here. Snyder. Here. Wozniacki. Here.
Just a quick reminder to the board members, if you're going to speak, make sure you're close enough to the microphone so that it'll pick it up for the residents to hear, please. Next we have the adoption of the agenda. I would like to remove under new business item number 4, Township Manager Contract. We need further discussion. We have a motion.
Supervisor, I'd like to add something to the agenda.
Support.
I want to add the Township Manager position.
One item at a time.
Oh, this is different.
Start over again, please, tell me.
I want to add the Township Manager position to the agenda.
Support.
That's the contract. That's the contract.
Calvin, I'm not quite understanding what you're saying, I'm sorry.
The Township Manager position, I want to add it to the agenda. Not the contract, the agenda. Manager position.
Good.
What you don't understand about that?
Well, we have a township manager.
I want to add it to the agenda because I don't think that we did the resident, I think we did a disservice to the resident at the last meeting because we did not go through the interview process.
Whatever. Okay, we'll take item number 4 on the agenda to replace the township manager contract. Okay.
We're just talking about the position.
Couldn't hear.
Couldn't hear what I said?
No.
Roberta, can you move your mic closer? Okay, so we're just talking about the position, not the contract.
Exactly.
Thank you, too.
So, do I have a motion? Approve the consent?
Two right here.
Adams moves.
Any support?
How you doing?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with changes.
Adam already did.
I'll support it.
Yeah, okay, very good. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, hearing none. Move forward now. Next, we have the approval and minutes of the September 3rd, 2024 regular minutes.
Adams so moves.
Support.
Been made and supported. Everyone had a chance to review it, the changes. Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed.
Coming in.
Couple things before we go to public comment. I realized that there were some people here at the board meeting who have never attended a board meeting. In the last board meeting, there were some issues, rather, talk when they could talk and all those kind of things. In for those of you who were here last month for the meeting, I will admit I got rather frustrated. That wasn't proper for me to do, and I apologize. You know, it's up, fine, anything. There's a couple of things on public comment. Each presentation to the board made by an individual shall be limited to 3 minutes in duration, unless extended by agreement of the presiding member of the township board. No individual may speak more than once on the same topic. To ensure all interested parties have an opportunity to speak, please be brief and limit any comments to one topic. Public comment is not a question and answer period. It provides individuals with an opportunity to express their comments regarding any subject matter. All comments shall be directed to the presiding member of the township board. No person may address or question board members individually. The board will not respond to comments made during public comment period unless it becomes necessary to ask a clarifying question, correct a factual error, or provide specific and factual information. Presiding member of the township board may interrupt, warn, or terminate an individual's presentation when the presentation exceeds 3 minutes or is personally directed, abusive, obscene, or irrelevant. May request that any individual leave the meeting when an individual fails to observe reasonable decorum. Request the assistance of law enforcement officers in the removal of a disorderly individual and that individual's conduct interferes with the orderly progress of the meeting, and can call for a recess at that time. There was an issue also during the board conducting business. Board meetings are business meetings of the township board, and it's in the best interest of the township as a whole that the board conduct its business in an organized, productive, and business-like manner. The public hearing and the public hopefully can interact with the township at any time, going to township offices, phoning or emailing the township or specific officials, or visiting the township website. Township board meetings are not town hall meetings where everyone has a say in the decisions. They are not meant to be extended complaint sessions or arguments. That is something many people, including township officials, sometimes themselves lose sight of, discussing nowadays when national politicians regularly use the term town hall meeting to refer to the public forum. That does not represent the form of local representation government that we have in Michigan. The township board meeting is not a debate or equal time situation for the public or individual board members. The public does not have a vote on the board's decisions, and they have a legal entitlement to express their opinions at a board meeting only during the public comment period or a special public hearing. The idea that all concerns, complaints, opinions, etc. must be addressed at a board meeting is not mandated by law or recommended from a practical standpoint. In reality, many issues the public bring to the board meeting are better handled in the interest of the public by township officials or staff in their offices. Comments or questions raised with the public at board meetings are, for the most part, not specific township business that must be transacted by the board. There are often issues involving administrative procedures, and there's no question that this is an important aspect of the township doing its business properly. And until or unless it rises to the level that it must be addressed to the board, and it goes further on that. It just, this is, you have an idea. So with that, we'll open up public comment. Come up to the microphone, please. For the record, please state your name.
Hi, my name is Avery Patton. If you know me, I've spent a good deal of time volunteering, working with you all, and you all know that I love Bridgeport. And I think that my record of working with the township, working for the township, being on the zoning board of appeals, proves that. But I gotta say, I was really disappointed with the decisions made last month concerning the township manager position. However, I can already see That's a big issue, and some of you take that very seriously, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful that there is already some movement to fix that problem. I've said it before, this is Bridgeport, not Washington, D.C. Should leave the D.C. tricks there. I didn't just come to complain, and I'm already seeing some positive movement, and I think that there's an opportunity for you to do something that most politicians don't do. To admit you made a mistake, fix it. You have an opportunity to redo. I want to ask you 3 questions on that. 3 questions before you take a vote on any issue concerning this. 1, is the township manager a leader? Bridgeport absolutely needs someone with backbone that'll push forward a vision to help our town succeed. They need the fortitude to stand up for their employees and make the tough calls without being swayed or controlled. The main issue with our last 2 managers was that they both folded in moments of adversity. We can't have that again. Second, did you, as the board, do your due diligence and follow the proper process for making the decision? I think we've already seen some momentum on that aspect tonight. Were all capable candidates properly interviewed and vetted by the entire board? Was the incoming administration included in the process? After all, Mr. Evans is going to be the one that has to work with our manager going forward. Was a fair and equitable process followed, or did we cut corners? Third question, is our manager above reproach? Why should we have to read the Herald after a vote has been cast that there is some kind of incident worthy of a police investigation? Residents cannot afford to wonder, is our leadership safe? Or will something else like this happen? We must have leaders we can trust that have integrity and will conduct the business of this town faithfully. So my challenge is simple. Can you answer a resounding yes to all of those questions? If not, we have an opportunity. We can make the right choice for the people of this town. Thank you for your consideration.
Okay, we skip the public hearing for fire assessment, and we go straight to public comments, or we go back to public hearing?
We'll go back. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Barbara.
I mean, excuse me, you hang right in there, okay? I'm just going to address him for a second, okay?
Beg your pardon?
I'm going to address what he was saying, but you can stay right there.
Okay.
Hang in there. I'm just going to take a minute.
Okay, all right.
Just a couple of things. Was the proper procedure followed as far as interviewing? There's nothing that states that you have to do interviews, okay? Let me give you an example, a little history lesson for some of you that may not know the history. Let's go back to when Dick Donald was the manager. He quit. Rose Licht at the time was administrative assistant. She was moved to the manager's job. There were no interviews done. Then Tracy Bennett was moved to the administrative position. When we had a wastewater department, Ed Carter, yeah, thank you, retired. Dan Billingsley, who was employed there, moved up into that position. When Dan retired, Jamie Sahaki, who was there, moved up to that position. When Pat Nelson retired, our assistant chief at the time, who was not now our chief, was moved to that position. When A.J. Navadonsky left to go to Florida, we did interview for a police chief because there was a feeling that we didn't have anybody on the force at that time that would be able to step into the job. Okay. Now, when Dave Duffett left, our new chief, and Gary Stavardis, and he was promoted. So, given the history, we have promoted as much as possible from within people who had the background and capable of handling the job, okay? So it wasn't just on a whim, we ignored all these policies and all that kind of stuff.
Well, if I could add to that, when Bud Gilmore decided to retire, there was no interviews for Don Gardner to come in. And after Don Gardner left, there was no interviews for Dick Dawson.
Okay, but I just wanted, because you made the statement that we didn't follow the proper policy. No, I'm sorry, I'm just responding to what you, okay, thank you. I just wanted to make that point. And it's a great situation where we have employees here, we're a small organization, so there's not a whole lot of ability for them to move into a higher position, if you will. And if we're able to do that, and we have people that are capable of doing the job, I am all for that, okay? And I think most of you, if you think about it, I know there's some people that have got the recent one, all people all around them and everything else, but I'm just trying to make a point that, number one, there is no such policy. Number two, we promoted many times from within. And that's fair to do to our employees. Okay? Enough said. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, hi, I'm Barbara Candoria. I'm a resident here, and I'm here to publicly say that I protest the assessment, the fire. I did not vote for it because I looked at all the tax increases and proposals, and I think my tax is gonna go up like $300 in January. And I'm told to follow through on it to the tax assessor. I'm publicly here saying that so I can follow through what needs to be done for this. I have cut back on my spectrum, turned in boxes, delayed getting another vehicle after all of this passed. This will be the first time in over 30 years that I will not be buying a new vehicle, but a pre-owned vehicle, just to stay within my budget and my what I can afford. But I'm just here, as the letter states, to say that I protest. I know we need the fire, we need proper equipment and everything, but there's no end. It's just $95 to start, so I know it's going up to, my tax is going up to $300. But I'm just here to follow through and follow the procedure. Okay.
I'm just asking, I'm just curious, you said your tax would go up $300
Because we have,
multiple
this
tax
one.
increases.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes, we have this
Clarify
one.
that. All right.
We have the Commission on Aging, which I do support because I used to work for the Commission on Aging.
Yes.
That one was a renewal and increase. We have the roads. That was something new. I believe the roads were on there. So it's going to go up at least $200 or $300 in January. So I'm just following through as the letter states to say that I protest, okay?
All right. Did you get a name, Wayne?
No, but I asked you that.
Lauria, Barbara Lauria. Okay?
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, for now, let's go back. I jumped ahead. I read this stuff and then moved into public comment. I apologize.
Can you go back? Because I'm here. I mean, we're in the public comment. Let's go.
Okay. Whatever makes you happy, that's what I'm doing.
Well, I actually wrote that down. My name's Carla Hurd. I wrote that down, what you said.
That wasn't sarcastic.
What I want to know is the promoting within. I know that has happened. I understand that. But I'm guessing, I don't know for sure, but in those instances were the other board members involved in that decision? Because in this case, for our township manager appointment, I know that they were not. I emailed immediately, and thankfully my email got well, 3 of you replied, so thank you for that. And Jim, I know you're not voting anymore or anything, so I'm sure that's why you didn't reply to me, because you're done. But I do know that 2 board members did not know about, want that, agree with that appointment. And one didn't really know exactly why she voted that way, she just did. She felt it was, I guess, the right thing to do. So if you're going to promote within, I understand all of that. But did the rest of the board members know what was going on? I don't think that they did. And also, please don't dismiss how many people are here and how many people are upset by the appointment by saying that we're wound up. Don't dismiss that. We deserve a lot better than that. We're not wound up. This is upsetting. It's disappointing. And it's wrong how you did it.
Thank you for your comment.
Hi, everybody. I'm just up here to say that I too, as many are, unhappy with the appointment and the way it went down. I just don't think that a permanent position should have been filled, since the new board is going to be coming on board in November, just next month. I feel like it should have been an interim position placed in there. If you want Ron to be the interim, that's all good, but it shouldn't have been a permanent position. And I think the new board should have an opportunity to choose the person that they're going to be working with. I told you after the meeting that I work for the federal government, retired from the federal government, and one of the things that you had mentioned during our discussion was that you didn't get enough qualified people. In the federal government, when that happens, they will repost and repost and interview and repost if they don't get the right person. They're going to keep doing that until they find the person that they feel is perfect for the position, not just one that happens to be the only one that they feel is qualified.
I think we're sticking with public comment.
No, which one are we in, the fire assessment or the public comment?
I think fire assessment, for me to keep track of the minutes,
Yeah, we should
let's
do
talk
it
fire
all back.
assessment.
My name's Gary Weaver. I lived in this township for 67 years. I'm not too familiar with procedures like this. It seems kind of rigid, but I guess this is the way to get you protested so that you can go in front of the tax tribunal. And that's what I would like to do right now.
I got your name down.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to speak on the fire assessment?
Fire assessment or public comment?
Fire assessment, we're just going to get back to where we should have been.
We're going to go back to the fire assessment and go back to public comments on it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We are.
Glenn Cheney, 6033 River Ridge Road. Haven't been here in a long time, I'm not going to be new. I just see, I'm all for maintaining our fire department, 100% behind it. What I'm not behind is having a line in here that says, if I can read without glasses, I can see it better. 9% anytime you want to assess it without going to the opinion on it.
Can't hear you, Bill. I'm sorry.
I say, why would the voters, and this isn't about the board at all, it's the voters, why in the world would they ever support something that says that you have, that the board has a right to add a 9% assessment whenever they feel like it, without voter approval? I don't understand this. It was right on the ballot, so the voters are the ones that's to blame for this. That's all. Thank you.
But just to clarify, Glenn, previously we had around 45, 4600, whatever, and we had people questioning, you know, you guys are going to raise it every year, and pretty soon it'll diesel doubled in no time. During that whole time, we never raised it a penny, okay? Now, the only reason that the board down the road may consider raising it would be the fact that this thing moved and, you know, went way out of kilter, and they didn't have enough money to support the building or the fire department itself. But that's just the way it works with an assessment.
I can understand that, but I also understand human nature pretty good because I'm a part of it. I know my failings. And if anybody ever give me an open checkbook, why would I take advantage of it? So that's, you know, that's, I hope that they read that. If it comes up for election again, we will be a little more careful.
All right, thank you for your comments. Anyone else commenting on the fire assessment?
My name is Hans Bunchmarker. I live at 6123 DC.
Just wait.
I'm here for the fire assessment. Again, the same questions that were brought up before regarding where's the money going, how much is that above what the township already is paying for the fire department. God knows they need money, but when you list in here and housing, does that mean you're saving for the new building for the fire department?
No, sir.
It says housing in there, doesn't it?
That's for the building itself. Money, those kind of monies too can be built, can be used to do repairs and that kind of stuff on the building itself.
Okay.
It's not building another building. It'll be buying fire trucks, it'll be buying equipment for the firemen, boots, helmets, air packs, all that kind of stuff.
And the cost that's, I understand.
The people that work in the fire department, those wages come out of the general fund. They're not part of that fire assessment. Can everyone hear me okay when I'm talking like this?
Yes.
Okay.
And again, I apologize, I should have come to the township earlier and looked that up. How many parcels are we talking about for timing again for the 95 meter? What would that range be?
Tracy, take a quick check.
4,168 parcels. The amount we'll be collecting is $395,960. Yeah, at the $95 range.
Okay, we've already got a certain amount already in the township's budget that goes for wages, right?
That goes for the wages for the full-time. We have 3 people full-time in the fire department.
Okay.
And that pays for their wages out of the general fund.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you. Anyone else?
Diane McGregor, just here to make sure my name is on the list for protest, so I can hopefully find a way to, like other people, pay the bills when the assessment goes up on the properties. I have a property that has a garage, and I'm assessed both on my home and my property. Police twice, fire twice, and now this assessment. I just want to make sure I can get fair and equitable. Hopefully, someone to help me give assistance with this. I don't know the ballooning of all the funds, but somewhere it's got to stop. People's paychecks are getting eaten up 10,000 times by government. I just like to state my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Dave Doherty. I live at 5865 McGrandy Road. I have some questions regarding this assessment. I don't quite understand some of it. The election in August, it was approved by 1,280 votes. The fire assessment was. So I don't know why are we here tonight? Do we have to approve it or something? Or is this a separate assessment?
That's all part
Because
of it.
according to the ballot in August, it says the same thing. It says that there's a an assessment of $95 per non-vacant parcel within the township. And that $95 is supposed to raise $396,245 in the first year. That's quite a bit of money. And I'm not sure, I had some questions regarding that cost and what's that money for. I know that you just mentioned some things like helmets and backpacks and all that kind of stuff. Is that stuff all outdated now? Or is it absolutely, I don't get it.
Well, for instance, and I'm not, our fire chief can explain, could you give me a hand with that? I don't want to say something.
Yes, sir. A couple years ago, the township was tasked with doing a critical infrastructure plan for the next 2 decades. Plan out everything that we needed to account for that was over about $10,000 or more. So for the fire department, when you look at a fire truck having to be replaced this particular year, or even 10 years down the road, our air packs. So a fire engine costs $1 million. For one firefighter to walk into a burning building costs $13,000 each. For the compressor that fills the air in those boxes, it's a $100,000 machine. And we need several $100,000 worth of repairs to our current fire station, no new fire station. To the current one we've been residing in since 1972. So year by year, we plotted that out, looked at the cost for each year, added up, and then that came up and devised a $95 per parcel, which is $50 more than we were paying last year, because everybody was paying a $45 assessment for the last decade. It's no longer enough money to sustain the same rate going into the next. Inflation has affected everything we do. So that is where, yes, sir.
Can I ask you a question?
Okay, then ask me a question.
Sure. I've seen buildings get knocked down and the price of them will probably be substantial over the last 3 years. The township building, how much did that cost? Shakespeare School, how much did that cost? Shaw School, how much did that cost? You gotta be talking a lot of money here. Do they put that into consideration when you guys are in need? Or they say, well, why don't we hold on and maybe knock one down instead of 3 buildings that are just vacant? That are not really a must to knock down, or we're gonna go and spend how many thousands of dollars? And that's not counting houses going down that they've knocked down. There's been several hundreds, maybe 100,000 or more, now the buildings and costs. And I've watched it happen day by day, and I'm going, I mean, we want an increase, but you're knocking down buildings that we need. We want a year. Let's do our money wisely all the way around. We have needs, we said how many years ago? This has just been done in the last few years, so.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Well, see, we don't pay to have the schools taken down, okay? That's school property, we don't pay for that. No monies that come out of the township for that at all. Okay? Unless I misunderstood you, but I thought that's what I heard you say.
One question I have is, do you have a budget?
Yes, sir.
And is it available for?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'd like to see that sometime, because you wonder why you need so much money. And I understand things like, okay, we gotta replace the fire truck. How old is it? That doesn't matter. How many miles is it? Has it been oil changed and all that by your people? Taking care of maintenance?
Yes, sir.
It could be 100 years old and still work, okay? I don't know. I mean, I don't know if my car wouldn't last that long. The fire trucks are not on the road as much, are they?
Now, probably the way you would conceive is when you're talking a 100-year-old truck or 100 million miles on a semi-truck. A million miles.
Well, how many fire runs has your department provided this past year?
Fire runs. So far this year, we're up to 1,011 calls. The makeup of what those all are, you can look at the report sheets month by month. Every year we provide an annual report in which everything's broke down from the previous year, on what calls types they were, where they were. The budgets for both the general fund and the assessment are printed out. So I have to devise a budget every year, how I would spend either one of those areas within the fire department. And on the website, or has been with the website, we just turned to the new website, but those items have been available for the last almost decade. We can still bring back up and look at those annual reports, budget proposals, and such. So it's all out there to get your answers. You can go home tonight and look online.
Okay. I'd like to see the budget sometime. I don't know where is that available.
On the fire, or on the township website. Bridgeport.
We could print it out for him and have him stop by the township and pick it up.
Okay, I just had those questions. I just wondered about the overall cost, and I know that there's, we want them to be safe. How many it's all volunteer firemen?
We're a combination department that has 3 guys that are there 40 hours during the week, and we have 15 on-call firefighters, of which 13 are currently certified.
Okay. And they're all paid according to their time.
They come to a call, they get $13 an hour.
So to answer another question that you had, is why we're going through this tonight, is that it's all part of the legal process, okay? First, we were going to put it on the ballot, we had legally posted, and then we had to vote on that and approve it through the board. Well, then once that's approved, then you have to determine the area that's going to be taxed, okay? Parameters of, all the way around the township.
All the property owners.
Yes, well, whatever buildings would fall in that category. And then you take a look at the number of buildings. First, you get the area that's going to be taxed, okay? And that has to be approved. And once we go through that process like we're doing tonight, now what we're looking at is the number of parcels within those boundaries that we're approving. So, and each time it has to be published in the newspaper, and so many days before we have a vote on that and discussions on it, that kind of thing. So it's a long, drawn-out legal process. So.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Supervisor, could I add one comment?
Oh, yes, sure.
So you were talking about increases to the assessment. I just want to point out that this board and management is well aware of people struggling in the community. And the board did have the option over the last 10 years to increase that assessment, but we understand everyone's economic concerns. So even though the board had the option to increase the assessment, they did not increase it at all over the last 10 years.
Okay. Anyone else? Yeah, hang on, Roger. Tracy's got a letter. You can keep the microphone there, Roger.
I'm not going to talk right now, so go ahead up.
Dear Bridgeport Township Board, I am writing to you to protest the fire special assessment. My property is in the special assessment district in the estimated assessment of $95. Put undue financial burden on my family. The only income for household is from a fixed income retirement account, and we do not have much in the way of assets. We are poor but not quite poor enough to get assistance. While we support the wonderful work of the fire department, we just cannot afford it at this time. Christopher and Sandra Portis.
My turn?
Yeah, okay, good, bye. that stand, Roger?
Well, again, we're all right. Roger Rosales, 2200 Iowa Avenue. Well, it looks like Roger Rosales is not alone this time, that he's concerned about the fire millage. That's forever. And my sole position from the beginning was that the Bridgeport Township Fire Department and Police Department are paid by the taxpayers to have a force that's ready to serve anybody at any given time if they need our services. And if anyone outside Bridgeport Township is in need of our services, we will render them, but we will get reimbursed with it. $369,000 is a lot of money every year. That's a big chunk of money. We do a lot of things with that kind of money. And my position was that we challenge each other to balance the budget, manage the departments, reduce costs, and generate money. Unfortunately, we're in a position now where the taxpayers have voted it in, so it's in, it's a done deal. Okay? So all we can do now is the fire department, the new board, needs to find ways to cut costs, generate money, show us they don't need the money, give the money back to the taxpayers. Will that happen? I don't know. But we do a lot of things in the fire department. We go to Franklin, we show off our truck, we put wear and tear on this to be in a parade. We buy ladder trucks we don't need. We go to Buena Vista to assist them when they come to assist us, and times we don't need costs. There's a lot of things that we need to manage properly. Now the taxpayers are here because they're protesting the amount that's going to be. We got to go with formalities and things doing so. But I sure wish you were around when I was hollering and raising my hand, because it was a forever tax, and I was the guy out there saying vote no, because I love my department, I love my community, but there's better ways of doing this. Unfortunately, this is where we're at. They got our money, we can't get it back. We have to prove that we can manage what we got with what we got and eliminate it, but I don't think that's going to happen. It's just the open checkbook. Once you got the money, you're going to spend it, you're going to say it's in the budget. So with that said, it's sad, but we have the money now, and I'll be on the list to protest it. It's fruitless, but that's the only thing we can do. If we don't do nothing at all, then we're part of the wrongdoing of how it went. But people that went out to the primary and voted, they're the majority at the time. The general election's coming up. I'm not sure it'll triple the numbers of it was, but it's the people that go out and vote that make or break things. And unfortunately, this is where we're at. And if we come here and protest, it's a done deal, people. That's why it's very important to vote, because our vote is the strongest weapon we got. It's crazy, but that's the way it is. Thank you for the time.
Thank you for your comments, Roger. Anyone else want to speak on the fire system? One more time. Now we'll move along. Now we can have public comment. Oh. Are we still on the fire assessment?
Yes.
Okay.
So, to me, it sounds like a lot of people, Sean Miller, Driveway Road. There are a lot of people that don't understand what the assessment's about, what it's gonna help our firefighters with. There are, as far as driving a fire truck to a community that supports us when we have parades and things like that, I think that that's ridiculous not to support your neighboring communities. And being part of using our fire trucks and resources to go to other communities when they need help. When our firefighters are so tired that they can barely carry themselves into a fire, and you want them to keep doing that for 6 more hours, working like that with no support. Because if we don't support them, they're not gonna support us. Period. And it's seen every day that you have good relationships with fire departments and you don't have good relationships with fire departments. And you guys are so lucky, everybody in this room are so lucky to have the fire department that you do, because these guys work so hard, so hard. They train more than any fire department in our area. Harder than any fire department in our area. You guys have the best fire department in Saginaw County.
And as far as replacing fire trucks when they have, say, 6,000 miles on them, it's not about the miles on it, it's the wear and tear on it. We can go across the road and fight a fire for how many hours? 12? You want to be out there and then turn around, go home, take a shower, and go back to work. You didn't sleep at all last night. You guys have to, if you don't understand something, then ask. Go to the fire department. They will talk to you. They're happy to talk to you. They want you to come in and talk to them. That's it. Thanks.
Bravo. I think we know a fireman, don't we? She's married to a fireman, but I totally agree with everything she said. The firemen in particular, the volunteers even more so, get out of bed sometimes 2 and 3 times during the course of the night. We're really, really lucky to have them. There's many areas struggling because they can't get enough people. It's a constant struggle. Okay, so now we'll move to public comment. Public comment or fire assessment?
Well, I want to, on the fire assessment, what I'm saying. My name's Terry Duff at 3275 Town Line. And as far as the fire assessment, if you don't support your fire department and their rating drops, go check your insurance on your housing. Go talk to your insurance company and ask them what they're going to charge you, how much more, because your ratings are not there anymore. And they're going to go up. I remember when a lot of the other guys around here, when our ratings on the fire department went up and our rates dropped on our houses. Remember that. You gotta support these guys. Same thing with the police department. I know I get a lot of people mad at me because I'm always in favor of those guys. But you've got to support your fire department. That's your backbone of your township. You gotta have it. If you don't have it, you know, you can see what they're doing in Florida right now with all the insurances and everything else. They're just raping them people. So start thinking about your bottom line in their township itself.
Mr. Duff, I did check with the insurance company. If we lost our fire department, my insurance would go up $360 a year.
Talk in the mic, they can't hear you, Roberta.
You say it again, they couldn't hear you.
I can hear you,
I did check with my insurance company, and my insurance, if we lost the fire department, would go up $360 a year.
Okay, now, public comment.
Good evening. I wasn't going to speak tonight, and I've changed my mind. First, let me give a big thank you to the fire department. A couple months ago, they came to my home, and they saved my son's girlfriend's life. She had quit breathing. She was unresponsive, and if it wasn't for them and the EMS that showed up, she could have been gone. So, I'm not pleased with the way the manager was hired. I just want to put that there. But that's not why. The meeting just got started, and our supervisor went right into negativity by responding to something a board member said by saying whatever. This was disrespectful, dismissive, distasteful, and disgusting. Not only to the board, but to all of the community that is here to support you and see what's going on and voice our concerns. We elect you for you to take care of us, to do what's right for our community. And that was really just, I don't know what else to say, but it was really terrible for you to speak like that.
If I should have maybe said whichever as president, whatever. I wasn't being sarcastic, I wasn't being negative. It came across that
But
way.
you were, and it sounded like that to everybody.
Well, some people hear what they want to hear.
No, sir. Thank you for your time.
Anyone else got any public comment?
Oh, I do, go ahead.
All right. Good evening. Jill Arndt.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. So we know the outcome of the last meeting, and we won't want to rehash that. But what I heard was fresh words tonight, and bringing up names like Bud Gilmore, Dick Donald, Rose, so forth. We want a new beginning. We want to break ground with positive. We want to learn from the past. I can tell you with the surety that having no interviews for as important of a position that the township manager is, and being exclusive with certain board members and entirely the new board come as soon as next month, is not good practice. And that's a big disappointment to the public that you thought perhaps that was okay. It's not, for a lot of reasons. But I can tell you, based on your reference of the past and having no interviews with the full board, that was a practice that shouldn't have been repeated. But those candidates did not have an internal investigation by the police department in the past. They did not have, we know the facts about what was reported and what was stated, so much so that an active employee, as the reporter said, shakenly wanted to address the board in closed session and was rejected. None of those former managers who were considered for promotion had any of those concerns. And we really want, we have positive news with TSC coming in. We've had great attendance at these meetings. We have people that want to be here that aren't, that are very interested. It's a high level of interest and energy. We don't want to spoil it, and I believe that that's what the reference was to your first comment and then the next one. We want to stabilize and go forward with positive, with transparency. You all took an oath of office. You got sworn in. We trust you. We want that credibility built back. We have some board members that are outgoing. We appreciate your service. We now want the new board to be on a platform that we want to trust. And that's what we're really hungry for. I really do believe that interviews for whomever fit. If you need to consider a recruiting firm, I know that Augie, you stated that there were a lot of retail or fast food or type of candidates because the key word was manager. I believe myself, because it's been in my career, that we can enhance the advertisement for the position. We really can build upon what we can offer to the candidates. There's a lot of healing that has to be done, and unfortunately, you Google, you see some history. But we're bleeding, we can put all kinds of healing on that and go forward. So I really want to trust that the board will make the right decisions with the process. I know you don't want to hear that word, but there really ought to be a process, regardless of what the history is with all of the past and no interviews. In my career, that has never been done with any internal candidate. They've always had to meet with a panel to interview. An interview can be telling of what their qualifications are, regardless of if they did do an accounting job for the last 8 years. We're going to trust you to I want to say, just kind of reconsider the passion of your people. We're here to support the township, the businesses, and we want growth. Thank you.
Joe referred to Tractor Supply. We recently had a planning commission meeting went very well. Pleased, there were 3 representatives from Tractor Supply here. 2 of them are corporate, and the other one is the one that runs around setting up these new buildings and those kinds of things. But they gave Bridgeport Township high compliment. He said that our planning Jamie Aintu, we worked with them, did an excellent job. Every time we have a new business in the past that's discusses possibly coming here, we have them come in and we have our department heads, they're relative to whatever they may be looking at, like fire and police and water, wastewater, building inspector, all those kind of things, and sit down with them and go through, answer any questions that they may have, and that kind of thing. So they were very pleased with the way they've been treated with Bridgeport. There's a couple of things that are going to the board of review, and that's not a bad thing at all. It should be easy peasy. Talking to Ron Weekly, he pointed out to me too that we're not talking about somebody that just decided to put up a building and now you got to really, really closely look at the prints. We're talking about Tractor Supply, who's put up many, many, many buildings, and they're not all identical, but they're pretty close to being cookie cutter type, if you will. So that should be an easy process in itself, but it's a very lengthy process. They have to go through electrical, mechanical, just so many things, and check them all, check the blueprints and make sure they're correct and all that kind of stuff. But I did want to point out, Jill, that I did see your article, if you will, in the Bridgeport Spalding webpage. It was very thorough. You should be a newspaper reporter or something.
I've been a recording secretary all my life.
You did that.
Not all my life. When I could take shorthand, I started.
You did an excellent job with what you put in there. Plus the fact that, of course, anytime you do that, you get some negative comments, but can you address those? Pleasantly, so I just want to thank you for that.
Well, I thank you for acknowledging that.
You're welcome.
See, new beginnings. New beginnings.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Steve Dovis, and I'm going to talk about the manager's position. A lot of you people in the room probably know who I am. I have been involved with Bridgeport over 40 years as a business owner, as a taxpayer. I've been on several boards. Actually, I was on the DDA board and the chair of that board for 8 years. I was the DDA coordinator for at least 5 years. I have served on, I can't tell you, numerous boards, Bridgeport and Birchmont Chamber of Commerce. I have done a lot for this community. I wasn't going to speak tonight. I was just going to lay low in the weeds and see what would happen. But I'm going to tell you all, I applied for this position.
Steve, turn around, please.
I'm talking. I applied for this position, and I don't think there's one person in this room that knows that, except for probably a few candidates on the board. To hear that we did not have any candidates that were not qualified is BS. I am more than qualified for this position. I should have had an interview. I'm sure there are other candidates that were, should have been interviewed, that were receiving of at least an interview. That's all I ask, receiving of an interview, and then go through that interview process, and then the board actually makes the final decision. I heard, and the reason I'm at this meeting is, Augie, you said that there was no other candidates that sent in an application that was not qualified. Now, that might have been your opinion, but my opinion is I am qualified for the position, and and I would like to be interviewed for the position. It is my right, and the way you guys went about this was totally wrong. And I'm just letting you know how I feel, and I feel Bridgeport is a sinking ship at this time, and we need a commander and a chief that is going to get this ship back in line and get it sailing. And the people that run this township are you guys. And you give us and the managers and the township manager a direction that should be followed. It has not been followed in the years. It's been a good old boys club. And I just want to let you know that I hope that this board or the incoming board does the right thing. Now, if I got an interview and I was not chosen, that's fine. Maybe there's somebody better qualified than me. But not to get an interview, shame on you. Thank you.
You were right, Steve. We know you well. Anyone else?
So most people here know me. I'm Jesse Norman. First off, I want to apologize to everybody in the room. I'm not as articulate as Mr. Dovis. I'm not as articulate as Mr. Drew Patton or Jill Arndt. But I will say on this manager position, I have talked to a few people that I also know that have applied for this position. My neighbor, Lisa Janelle, being one of them. She also has time in government. She's worked at banks. She's worked in all sorts of different management positions. And I want to know why, especially when we have somebody that we're putting on this board that has had a police investigation that we all had to find out. Augie, can I speak?
We're not going to.
Yeah, we're going to go there.
No, we're not.
Because here's the thing, Chief Duffett did the investigation, and that's conflict of interest.
We do not get into those kind of issues.
Yeah, well, we are.
We're not going to.
That just shows what kind of board we have.
No, that's correct. Okay. Anyone else, public comment?
Good evening. My name is Jason Hurd. My wife asked me to come up here. So we've been married about 16 years, and it's probably been about 15 that it took me to stop putting my jacket on the chair in the dining room. Over that 15 years, my wife consistently encouraged me to do the right thing. You know, I look back at my history, 20 years in the Army, going back to 1991. Every position that I had, there was always a board. There was always someone that communicated with someone else about my worthiness to take that next position. I'm concerned that that didn't happen. Obviously, there was few people out here that had addressed the board, raising their concern that there should have been interviews, there should have been communication between the board. I support that. I think that should have happened. But more importantly, what we do going forward. How do we correct this? How do we make this better when you hear from your community, when you hear from your constituents, when you hear from the members of this community about what they want, what they need? Jill, thank you for saying what you did. This community does need to come together. Steve, love your passion. That was awesome. I think you need an opportunity to be interviewed. People that have addressed you, please take their comments into consideration. Please look at our comments as a way to move forward. Because if it doesn't get looked at, if it doesn't get addressed with respect and passion for their comments, for their concerns, for their feelings, things will not get better. I hope that we could address this in a professional manner. I hope we can come to an agreement of what we need to do going forward. And I hope everybody's happy. It may or may not happen. But I can tell you, as a member of this community, I don't always come up to these board members, but I felt it was important to come here tonight to address this, because this is wrong. Point blank, it's wrong. That's all I got to say.
Anyone else like to make public comment?
Roger Rosales. Now, I'd like to think tonight was constructive criticism. Now, 2.5 years ago, I committed myself to attend every meeting that Bridgeport Township had that was on constant contact, which I did. Now, I'm pleased and amazed of the attendance today, and I understand a lot of them are here for the millage. They may have been shocked, maybe they didn't vote, maybe they get involved, or whatever it is, but they're here, and also people are here for the manager position. I get it. Now, in those 2.5 years journey of me attending these meetings, it was always a ghost town in every meeting I went to. And just recently, it's been picked up because of the momentum of supervisor and whatnot. But these individuals that are on these boards before us and the other boards, they get peanuts for money, monetary gain. And they give up their lives and their time to be here. And a lot of us would not get involved, and there'd be a lot of vacancies open. There wouldn't be anybody putting in the positions. And the individuals that are in these positions were the one conducting the business of Bridgeport. So I condemn them, I admire them, I respect them. And then there comes time when there's hot issues and momentum as there's now, we come up here and we give our 2 cents, and I respect that too. There should be respect on both aisles here, the ones before us and the ones behind us. The ones before us are not wrong, and they ain't right, but you know, we get there. One way or another, we'll get there, they'll listen. So we can't go off shooting everybody here. Now, what we have here before us today is they decided not to move forward on the contract. That's step one. Now, at the last meeting, the highest authority is the Township Board. They voted to put the current individual as a manager. So he's the manager right now, but doesn't have a contract. And we have a board member who decided to put it on the agenda. They're going to go through the formalities of bringing up discussion, and the board's going to go through the steps, and whatever's discussed, they may at that point move forward and voting not for him to be manager or to keep things as the way it is. But there's formalities, protocol, processes, and all that good stuff that comes with this. So we have to understand government also, and they're here because they hold the position, because they give up their time, and they love Bridgeport, they respect Bridgeport. But there's a changing of the guard coming, and change is the only thing that's constant. So we'll move slowly and respectively. Thank you much.
Thank you, Roger. Anyone else like to make public comment? One more time. Hearing none, public comment is now closed. Next, we have to set the public hearing for the 2025 general fund budget for November 6th, 2025.
I'll make a motion to set the public hearing on November 6th, 2025 at 6 p.m. for the general budget. Fund budget.
Support.
Motion made and supported. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, passed. Last item under the new old business, resolution R24-19 fire assessment roll.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution R24-18 fire assessment route as presented.
Support.
Motion made and supported. Do we have a roll call, please?
Laker,
Yes.
Woznicki,
Yes.
Townsend,
Yes.
Carpenter, yes. Secord,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Okay. Next on new business, item number 1, Iwen Tool Proclamation. You want to read that, please?
yes.
Get up to the microphone.
Proclamation to Ralph Iwen and Iwen Tool Supply Company. In 1974, Ralph and Janet Iwen created a sole proprietorship called Iwen Tool Supply Company. And whereas Ralph, who had previously launched and operated Rico Tool Company for 15 years, brought in his son-in-law Herman Salmon, and the two men worked part-time out of a bedroom in Ralph's home. Iwen's youngest daughter, Sean, who joined the team to manage accounts receivable while simultaneously attending college. This was the birth of the company motto, lowering costs by increasing productivity. Whereas the Iwen family kept things close, bringing in friends to process the orders that were constantly flowing in, continuously maximizing productivity, and in turn keeping costs low for customers. It goes without saying, customers appreciated low cost and efficient timetables. And it led to Iwen ITSC, finally incorporated in 1988, with the principals remaining and Irvin taking the helm as president. Although Janet passed away in 2001 and Ralph in 2003, the Iwen team continues in the original vision. Whereas in recognition of the Iwen family and their dedication to keeping an ever-growing business headquartered in Bridgeport, Michigan, we honor Iwen Tool Supply and celebrate their 50th anniversary.
Okay. Thank you. Next we have a Township Property Bid. Parcel number there, it's about 18 numbers long, so I don't read that. Would be available if anybody's got a question, maybe. You get a motion, please.
I'll make a motion to approve $500 bid for Harris McKinney for parcel number 09-11-5-08-3464-000 located at 3303 Sun Valley Road.
Adam supports.
Motion made and supported. This is a little piece of property right behind his house. We have a roll call, please.
Secord,
Yes.
Laker,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Woznicki,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Townsend,
Yes.
Carpenter, yes.
And we have a second Township Property Bid. A couple of parcels, actually 5 little parcels.
I'll make a motion to approve the bid for $750 for the 5 parcels listed here, located on Donna and King.
Adam supports.
Motion made and supported. Basically, since we received a bid from Eugene Schmidt for 5 parcels on Donna and Tatum. He owns a large parcel adjacent to these parcels, which is the farm properties. He offers $150 per parcel for a total of $750. He will be requesting to have a zoning change from residential to agriculture. Just a couple of pieces of those lots there right next to his property, part of his farm. We have a roll call, please.
I'm sorry, it's what? Donna?
Yeah, well, it shows on the map, Donna, that it was never developed. It's one of those when they were developed. So Donna's not on the map, if you can go. Okay. Need a roll call?
Townsend?
Yes.
Vicky?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Carpenter, yes. Baker?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes.
Secord?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, new item number 4, Township Manager.
Motion to discuss. Or.
Okay, let me, excuse me, just go back and try to put some context to this whole process. The position was advertised, and of course, as a part of the advertising, stated that interviews would be conducted. And of course, we had a long discussion at the September meeting, and supervisor said that interviews would be conducted, but no interviews were conducted. Now, historically, the Township Board formerly interviewed Adriana Jordan. The Township Board did not interview Michelle Gregory. The Township Board did not formally interview Ron. Therefore, we have no idea of what his management style is, plans for the township economic growth and development, skills in pursuing grants and other resources, how we plan to work with the residents and community organizations. These things are some of the things that we could have asked during the interview process, and of course the resident would have had a better idea in terms of the skills and what we will be looking for in a manager. Therefore, I move that the position be changed to interim manager, and interviews are conducted after the November 8th election for the township manager position. That's my overview and that's my response.
Any other comments?
Well spoken. That's what we should have done in the first place.
Thank you.
I have a comment. I do believe in promoting within. I mean, if we can promote somebody within, they should get that position. And I did support his position as manager. However, with the uproar that it caused in the township employees this month, I came here tonight to say we need to do some more checking into this situation.
My response, in addition to Roberta's response, I would say that basically we can promote from within as much as we want to. We just want to make sure that we interview people, and of course we make recommendations in terms of who the person is going to be. I have no problem with appointed people from within, but I do think it's a disservice to this township if we don't have an interview process to pursue as well as to implement.
But then, we should know our employees.
That doesn't have anything to do with the interview.
Okay. Next, we have assessing services.
Oh, yeah, I made a motion. That was my motion. And of course, Bruce seconded. Motion that we changed the township manager position to interim manager. And of course, after the November election, then we pursued the interviewing process and try and select a township manager, whether it's internally or whether it's externally. There were some additional applications that came in, and based on my review of those applications, there were some other people qualified for this position.
Anyone else?
The motion is on the floor.
Now, this is for discussion.
I support.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Carpenter, no. Secor?
Yes.
Kuznicki?
Yes.
Townsend?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Slaker?
Yes.
Adams?
Abstain.
Next, we have the assessing services.
I'll make a motion to approve the proposal for assessing services with Michigan Assessing Coalition Incorporated as presented. Adam supports.
Been made and supported. The one that we've had up until now has been a short period of time. You're having a hard time handling things properly here. So we decided to take a look for somebody else, and we found them very capable. Going to be here 2 days a week instead of occasionally like they were, and I'm going to need to go into all that. But just by coincidence, we got a notification from them yesterday, I believe, Tracy, that they made the statement that they're spread too thin, they can't give us adequate service, and so they're backing out of their contract, so. Anyway. We have a roll call, please.
Adams?
Yes.
Kuznicki?
Yes.
Slaker?
Yes.
Townsend?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Secor?
Yes.
Carpenter, yes.
Thank you, accounts payable.
I'd like to make a comment and then a motion. My comment on this is that our funds that we are showing tonight, they were quite a bit more than this, but the building that we purchased that we're sitting in was due to a wire transfer. So it is not listed on this, but it was 100% legally purchased. We signed off on it. I just didn't want anybody to hear the motion that I made tonight versus the normal ones I make and realize that we were 400 grand short. So with that, I'll make a motion to approve checks number 72962 through 73077 in the amount of $421,519.30 as presented.
Adam supports.
Motion been made and supported.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'd like a clarification on the kickball shirts and embroidered shirts. I've heard different stories.
I believe that's for soccer jerseys.
For where?
You got a soccer team?
I believe it was proposed and put on there by, I believe it was put on there by Bill Wheeler. I'm going to let Tracy and Ron look at that look. I'm not sure. Not actually put there, but actually for one of the teams that he's helped outfit, was my understanding.
We don't have a soccer team in Bridgeport.
Where to go with it?
That's what I'm questioning.
I'm almost positive it was for the Anderson Enrichment Center kickball game they had in computer.
Okay. I understand that. That's our project. Okay. Good. Thank you.
Thank you. Bill, second. Okay. Next up, police department report.
Point of order, did you call the
I'm
vote on that
sorry.
last one? Point of order, did you call the vote on that last one?
We didn't call vote. What? Okay. Trying to move on. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none. Okay. Now. Yeah, please.
Not much to report. September, we responded to 318 calls, dispatch calls, down from August, which was 357. I don't know if everybody's aware, but stolen vehicles are daily. For example, Roger had one dumped on his property a couple weeks ago. The cars that they're stealing are Kias and Hyundais, older models. I'm not sure what gate it cuts off, but they can literally steal your car by popping the column and using an iPhone USB charger. So if you own a Kia or a Hyundai, keep that in mind. Other than that, if they steal your car, they can steal your car. It's not a lot of prevention you can do, but just keep that in mind. So, other than that, keep your cars locked. We still have vehicle break-ins quite often. That's about it.
I've seen an article on TV, they were talking about those two men, the Kia and Hyundai. By the way they were configured, it was really easy just to hop in and pull wire, whatever they did, and take off with the car.
It's very, very easy.
Of course, it doesn't help when you advertise this stuff on TV, you know. I'm gonna go shopping tonight.
If you own one of those vehicles, you can actually go to the dealership and have fix put in, but of course, Kia wants to charge you $600 and Hyundai, so there is a fix, but you think that they would cover for you.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere, yes. I would say daily between, in Saginaw County, probably 5-6 cars a night, easily, and they're being dumped everywhere. City, we've had quite a few, BB, the city, pretty much Saginaw Township a lot. It's just, they drive around, they see a Kia or a Hyundai, and they're getting them. But those aren't the only cars that are being stolen. Those are just the ones that have been easiest to steal.
Thank you, Dave.
Good evening. Bridgeport Fire Department responded to 125 calls for service for the month of September. And that brings us to 1,011 calls for service, well, 12, we just had one 5 minutes ago, for the year so far. So we're slightly ahead of last year. This is our second busiest month to date. In particular, this month was a lot of car accidents. We had 16 in a regular month, we maybe have 5. We had a fatal crash that was particularly testing on our people. I do want to make that clear too, in addition to talking about our men and women on the fire department and just going to fire calls. It's a lot more than spraying water on flames. When they see incidents like happened to them about 2 weeks ago, that stays with them for a lifetime. They sometimes need counseling, they sometimes quit because of incidents. These people aren't bulletproof. You, me, they're just willing to do a task for their community. It's a tough job. So to get even 20 people, which is where we're at now, to do this job, as a support job, because again, it's not volunteer in the true sense, but $13 an hour, you can understand that these people do it for a lot of other reasons than to pay the bills. And we run a lot of calls compared to many of our neighbors. We have to help our neighbors, yes. We went to Univista to help them on a school fire. Just as several fire departments came to help us when we had a building fire. And we had 3 miles of I-75 on fire because spot grass fires stretched between the 146 and the 142 mile marker while we were fighting another structure fire. So It's a test for people that live here. They're not on shift. There's not a B shift that comes in and relieves the C shift. It's the same 20 individuals that if they're home right now, they're going to a call. If they're home at 2 a.m., they're going out to another call. They're home at 6 a.m., they're back out there on the call. Then they go to their day job with current pay so they don't get fired. So, again, I support and I appreciate everybody that did come up and say negative, positive, appreciate it. I'm a citizen of Bridgeport, lifelong, Bridgeport, Bearcat, class of 1989. This is my town, my taxes too. So it didn't go lightly in figuring out the calculations for these taxes. It angers me to know how much we have to pay for this equipment as the chief. And I can assure you there's not going to be taken lightly any costs now in the future, and that we won't pursue any other alternatives, grants, and what have you. I just hope that we continue to have people to do it, and we will continue to be able to afford to put this service for you. So, this is Fire Safety Month. I'd just like to remind everybody, go home, checkers, detectors, practice fire safety with your family. You'll be amazed how many people don't really think about, hey, what would I do if there's a fire in my home tonight? And that's where most of the fires happen. It's not always out in the business, it's at your home. So think about that as the next month goes on, and wish everybody good evening.
Sure.
Staffing, we have some good news.
Yeah, so we do have 2 new firefighters coming on. They actually are coming back to us, having previously served in some capacity before. Whatever life comes up, they step away, they're coming back. I'm actually hopeful that we may have upwards of 3 more people, similar situation, plus 1 brand new one, coming on within the next 2 weeks as well. So, yes, we do have some positive looking at numbers. Again, it's always in flux. We have people that need to step away. Sometimes they didn't have it on the horizon and something happens. So, but yes, we are in a net gain from previous months. Hopefully we can keep this rolling.
Dave, I just wanted to mention too, a short while ago I had mentioned to Dave that I had a fire extinguisher in my home, just, typical small one. And I said, even though it shows that it's full of charge, how do I know? And I said, so I've had it for probably 10 years, 7 years, whatever. Should I just go get another one? And he recommended, so go ahead and tell him what you recommended and how it worked.
Well, with fire extinguishers, especially older ones, they have a powder chemical in there for the fire suppressant with some type of propellant that compresses the air when you expel it. Over time, that can get hardened inside. So what you may show is a little dial on there that says, hey, it's charged, but nothing but air might come out. There might not even be any air come out if it's not charged. Some of them have a little green button that you press to the top. If it's charged, it should pop back right out. But a 10-year window, you probably are best to replace that fire extinguisher. Just as when we have a fire extinguisher on the fire department at commercial, every year they have to be inspected, and every so many years they have to be hydrostatically tested, emptied out, tested for pressure, and so forth. And then after so long, they will recommend that you take it out of service. So a 10-year, that's plenty of a long time for a fire extinguisher to just be sitting in there. And I know we're all guilty of something sitting in the garage in the corner of the house for longer than that. Smoke detectors, 10 years, replace it. Carbon monoxide detector, maybe half of that.
Yeah, I was actually referring to the fire blankets that you recommended to me.
Oh, fire blankets. There are fire blankets as well that can be useful in kitchen fires, things of that nature. Throwing those over burning grease fires are actually probably preferable than spraying them with the propellant. Definitely don't use water on a grease fire. I recommend that at least the last thing you know. Is that what you're
Yeah. And the nice thing about it, you can use it again. If you're thinking about something like that, there's a video. If you go online and fire blanket, just put that in there, and they sell them on Amazon as well. They're like $10. anyways, okay, thank you, Dave. Next we have the manager's report.
Well, good evening. I had a whole statement prepared for tonight, but I'm going to table that after the discussion. So I definitely want to appreciate all the residents and everyone voicing their concerns. So to be honest, if I was a board member at last month's board meeting, I probably would have voted as Calvin and Bruce did. I don't know. I wasn't in that position, so I was in this position and I was kind of caught up in the meeting. So I understand everyone's concerns there. I just thought after the last 4 years of seeing how the managers acted with the board, that I could have been the right candidate for that position. So obviously, you know, the board makes me the interim manager, and then as the interview process, I am definitely fine with that. So, you know, in the end, I'll just read one of these sentences here. So my hope would be that the board would make their selection, and they, the department heads, the employees, and the residents would accept the decision made and move forward to improve the lives of everyone within Bridgeport. And so that's where I stand. So if it's someone else, then I can definitely accept that. I just, you know, I look at this and I just want to stop the games and the drama and do what's best for the residents of Bridgeport. And if it's me or someone else, we're here to serve the residents. So that's it on that. So just some things to mention. So last week we did have the Tractor Supply, the site plan review. So that was approved by the Planning Commission last Thursday. From our DPW person, so I just want to thank everyone that was involved with that process, Jamie Anku, with our Planning Commission and all the other department heads that were had to go through those plans and review those. So I just want to thank everyone for the time that they spent doing that and working with businesses, because we want to bring businesses in, create jobs, and improve the lives of everyone within Bridgeport. From our DPW superintendent, he just mentioned that there's the flushing of the dead end hydrants. So during that process, all hydrants used are pumped out. So please keep that in mind when you see that going on. So if we receive any calls, that's what's going on there. There was a lot of discussion about the budgets, so I was hoping to take that to the board tonight, but we got to follow all the processes. So first we got to set the public hearing, and then the board, and we'll have the budget available to the board and the residents to look at before that is voted in November, or as long as it's done by December 15th, we'll be in compliance there. Mishta, I did email Augie and Calvin, so we finally have a grant award there after several months. So that's good news. I'm still trying to get a third-party administrator to get a bid. So once we have that, then we can make that selection. And then we have, I did let Calvin and Augie both know that I do have a call with Mishta on Thursday. So we're still trying to keep that program moving. It's a great program. It can do a lot of improvements to the residents' houses here. So we've got quite a waiting list on there. It's just trying to work with Mishta and get this program up and running. So Halloween. So I think the board has normally set trick-or-treating hours on that. I think we've typically done 6 to 8 in the past. There. So, all right, I will let the appropriate people know. I think we did have a phone call from WNE on that, so I will let them know. The Historical Society is also doing a trunk or treat on the 31st from 5 to 7 p.m. Set up time for 4:45. Those wishing to pass out treats must sign up by October 23rd, and then just contact the museum if you have questions or want to volunteer for that. The Chamber is also having the trunk or treat, I believe, on October 26th, 1 to 4 p.m. at the Birch Run Speedway. So I just want to mention that. And then a couple other things just on the Dixie Highway project. So I did not drive by there today, but I guess the last I was told that the roundabout at Dixie and Curtis should be completed any day. And then the last thing on Dixie from Willard to Birch Run Road, Dixie's detoured to Birch Run Road and gear us south into Genesee County, and they're anticipating that to be complete by November. So that is everything I have for tonight.
Okay. Board comment? Roberta?
I'll just add that the DDA will be participating in the 2 trunk or treats. And if Sam can figure out how to make my castle stand, we can have a vampire's castle.
What's that? Calvin?
Yes, Ron, we're not saying that you should go through the interviewing process. You come out as a top candidate, then certainly I'm sure that this board would hire you, but I do think, nevertheless, that the formal process is something that we should consider and implement, and I don't see anything wrong with that. So if you're the top candidate, you will be offered the position.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I guess I like to stress a couple things. Number one, since Ron came on board as our accountant, he's done a fabulous job as an accountant. When he actually applied for the position of the manager, I was going to be kind of sad to see him leave as the accountant, because being the treasurer for the last 9 years, he's done a really good job at that. The process is what it is, but I'd like and all the dirt and everything everybody was throwing. If you remember about the good book, and he said let him without anything wrong with him throw the first stone. So maybe we can just forgive and forget and move on, because there's a lot of things that I don't think anybody here would like a lot drug up from their past or out of their closet or put on view. And I just want people to know that I think there's a lot more to a person than just the position that he holds. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, again, it comes up. I have to question things that come out of our Parks and Rec. Yeah, I understand with the Anderson Field, that kind of stuff, but shouldn't Parks and Rec have something to say about when our Halloween hours are? Isn't that what Parks and Rec is all about? Their recreation in Bridgeport Township, and we have no input from them. So that's just a comment, no answer.
Thanks everybody for showing up. Stay involved, keep coming.
Thanks. Miranda?
I support that. Democracy in Bridgeport Township is alive and well. You guys keep showing up. This is beautiful.
Thank you. Just a couple of things. Jimmy mentioned the money that went to the building. Last week I went over to the title company they have to call them, and then they call them back, and they have to do this, and they, but anyway, we finally got it done, so now we do officially own the building. Other than that, I guess we're all set. Motion to adjourn, order.
Support.
Motion made, supported, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.